All right, hi, Michael. Here, BigGeordieGeek. I'm gonna finish off these models that I need to build for the weekend. What have I got to build? Just a second. Let me just figure out what I've got left to build. I've got the Sisters Repenter. So there's 4 of them. 3 Archer Flagellants and a Penitent Engine. Let's see if we can get these finished tonight. So let's crack on. I'm gonna open up Restream chat. So I need to figure out how to get this to work. Really need to figure that out because it's not working the way I would like it to work. Right, where are we? Where are we? I'm pulling up Facebook here because I said I need to bring this together. Alright, that's a video. Alright, that's not a video. That okay. Here we go. Right, let's see. Sorry, bit of a cough there. Got me a cup of tea. So, gone a bit cold. Battle mug, crusty. So, let's crack on. So, first things first. So, we've got the Seraphim Squad. We've got the Repenter Superior. So, let's start with the first Repenter. Finish a cup of tea before it goes complete cold. I need to have a shave as well. Okay, so this is frame A I want. And we want A72. This should be relatively easy to get now because, you know, you'd think it would be A72. There we go. Sisters Repenter. A72, A73. There's the leg. I'll get the 70 sword 75. Well, eviscerator, I should say. 75. Oh, this is quite fancy. I like this. Really nice. What else I want? 76. Must be this one. Must be this one. And 74. There it is. And these go on 28mm bases. I know a lot of people have been sort of, oh, what's a 28mm base? They're weird. I like them. They're nice. They're that nice halfway point between the old 25mm, which, you know, for a lot of stuff is just way too small. I don't know. I mean, I've been working on some blood claws today, finishing off some blood claws, and I don't know how we ever managed with 25mm bases on them. Got to rebase all my Space Wars at some point. I know some people are always like, oh, what's the point in rebasing? But I think they look so much better on the new, the bigger bases, that it's worth doing, in my opinion. But that's just me. Doesn't mean you have to, but that's just me. I rebased all my painted Blood Ravens earlier this year, which was, well, actually it was last month. I finished them all last month. There was only a few squads because, yeah, I've still got like a box of Blood Ravens left to do for. See, I don't think this camera is quite getting all of this. As I said, I mean, got more. I'm going to have a look at some other painting streamers, probably tonight or tomorrow, and see what their setup is more like. See if I can get this improved better, because maybe this isn't the best setup to have. Who knows? I'm just going to quickly mute my microphone, actually, and listen to the stream to see if I can actually got voice coming through, because we had some issues with this before. actually and listen to... Okay, you might have gotten something there. I was just making sure that it was working, because we had some issues with it before. Turns out there were some settings on the mixer that weren't quite right. I'm not a sound engineer. My brother Daniel, now he is actually a music producer. Well, he's a trained music producer. He did that at university. He's actually a manager at McDonald's, which is cool because I actually treat him really well. He's no complaints. I like these nice dynamic poses. These are going to be a... See, all of these sisters represent... because there's so many different textures in this set, it's going to represent it is going to represent a challenge to get these all painted. But as I said, I'm going to be here at the painting desk all day on Saturday. If anybody wants to join me, by the way, just drop me a message. It'd be nice to have company. I need to put out a post later saying, hey, come give me company. So I'm going to do that as soon as, pretty much when this stream is done. I've got Graham, Rob, Chris, Megan and Lindsay are going to help at various stages. So, right, she is... See, I love the dynamism of these poses, but sometimes, you know, having such few contact points, it makes it a little bit more... What's the word I'm looking for? Precarious when they're building as the glue's drying. Right, so let's get her head on. Oh, I like it. She's being blindfolded, and the blindfold is locked onto her head. It's actually, you know, physically padlocked on. It's kind of cool. I want to get a box of multi-part Repenter at some point. In fact, I want to get lots of multi-part models for the Sisters Battle. There'll probably be an army. I concentrate in the buying stuff for next year. Next year, get them up to a full independent standalone army, as it were, next year. Right now, they are designed purely as an army that's going to work with the Tempest of Scions. Obviously, I don't have a list yet because obviously I don't know what the new point values are and how everything works in 8th edition. I know there are, sorry, 9th edition. I know there are various leaks out there, but I don't really do the books, the physical books, that well. I have some difficulties with my hands. Which makes building fun, because I've had to come up with compromises about how it works. It's why it's taken me so long to build these. I thought that was a cat there for a minute. There is a cat under my desk. Out! Out of there! Out of there! Out of there! What's she done? Always suspicious when there's a cat under the desk. Always suspicious. Yeah, so I really struggle holding the books, so I kind of am dependent on the on electronic versions, and at the minute Games Workshop haven't put out any information, any pre-order for the electronic versions of Chapter Approved, which is a little bit disheartening. So there's her done. If I look this way, it's because I'm checking the camera live, because obviously this is a little bit delayed. Bonnie, I'm just going to move the cat. Give me 1 second. Bonnie. This is Bonnie. She keeps getting on my printer and mucking around. She's a pain in the bum, but we love her. Yeah, so no electronic chapter approved up for pre-order at the minute, which is a little bit disheartening because it makes you wonder, will it be coming out? Because as I said, I kind of depend on electronic versions of it. 77, 78. But I've emailed Warhammer Digital, so see what they say. I've got the feeling it's going to be a no, you're going to have to buy it through the app, which would be very, very disheartening because the app doesn't work on the computer and I don't always want to use the what's what I'm looking for. I don't always want to use the book on the app, especially as the books I bought on Azir doesn't have that many fantastic accessibility features. It's not great, sadly, if you're after accessibility. You know, there's no easy text to mouth and such. But we'll cross the bridge when we come to it. Hopefully there'll be an electronic EPUB version, as we've had for the past few years, for everything. But who knows? It may just be that it's a case of, hey, you've had this great facility to just buy an EPUB and watch and read the books however you read them. But you know, that is over. I guess probably piracy has spoiled it, but what can I do? It'll just be annoying because it will put me in the position where I'm literally going to have to scan the book, because as I said, I cannot manage books for gaming with. It's really difficult. It's the gripping card. That's why basically I buy all my books as EPUBs, because it's great. That's the way I do it, but that's just me. Yeah, so we are live right now on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. And this is what we're going to do at the weekend. We're going to be having giveaways to people who donate. So let me have a look. How are we doing donation-wise? I haven't actually looked, because I don't get the notifications. Oh, we're at 160, so we're at 80% of the target. That's brilliant. I don't get the notifications because Chris runs our the podcast's Just Giving account, and it's much easier just to use the podcast Just Giving account because it's all set up, rather than me come in and try and set up my own one, and it's just a bit annoying. It's just a bit easier if we do it that way. Makes sense. Podcast. If you're not familiar with the podcast I'm referring to, it's Edge of Empire. It's a Horus Heresy podcast. Although we are expanding out, and very soon, my three co-hosts, Rob, Graham, and Chris, are going to be debuting Straight Silver, a Tanith, Sabbath's World's Crusade podcast. I'm looking forward to this because, if you are a listener of the show, you will know that I have that whole slight confession. I never actually read any of the Gaunt's Ghosts novels until quite recently. Yeah, I know, shocker. I'm a big reader, but I don't know, somehow I just never managed to read Gaunt's Ghosts novels. Oh, my friend Darren has liked the post. Hello, Darren. Darren's an awesome guy. Went to, you know, we were air cadets together. One of my best friends growing up. Loved him. Really good guy. It's one of the problems when you live so far away from where you went to school. You never see the people, you know, that you grew up with, and you kind of have this disconnect from them. Because I live in County Durham now, but I'm from Newcastle. Spent a few years in Newcastle as a kid, then moved to London, then moved to Suffolk, and I spent 10 years, a bit more maybe, in Suffolk. So, formative years, as it were. I'm not a fair maiden. That's what they call people from Suffolk, because apparently they're the most pretty people in the UK. However, my brother Daniel and my sister Ashley are fair maidens, whereas me and Paul, that's my other brother, we are proper Geordies, because we were born in Newcastle, and that is the definition of a Geordie. But right now I live in County Durham. It's weird, actually, because the village I live in is very much a mixture of Newcastle and Sunderland fans, so it is kind of funny. You know, you've got people walking around in Sunderland and in Newcastle tops. And I don't know if you know the North East, and if you know football, you'll know that is weird. Well, not weird, but it is unusual. Because Newcastle and Sunderland fans absolutely hate each other. So it is funny to see the kids walking around. Aren't they? Haha, they make them hardy up north. Southerners can be pretty. Yeah. It's fair enough. I mean, that said, somehow my youngest siblings are the better looking of the four of us. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Had a decent pizza shop 10 years ago, though. That's nice. That's nice. Nice Repenter. Yeah, it is weird them being on the 28th to the 25. I mean, there's here. I got the two bases up, and I'll show you to compare. You've got so you can see it's quite a substantial difference. You know, the 20 definitely looks better, but it definitely looks better on them. I mean, things have really changed in terms of bases in the past, you know, a few years, haven't they? I mean, it used to be, you know, you had your 25s, your 40s, and your 60s, and now it's just and your pill bases. And there's all sorts. It's good though. I like the I like the new size bases. Right, okay, so now we've got two identical Repenter to build. So we want part B15. Well, I say identical. Well, identical in pose, but we've got two different heads on these, so I will be using the different heads to make them stand out. Hey Sean, how you doing? Sean is one of the chaps that is behind Chilling Wargamer. Excellent group. They do some excellent YouTube shows. Definitely worth checking out. Really chilled out group, as the name implies. Awesome Discord server, although I haven't been that active on it of late. Recovery from COVID has sorry, cough there, just as I mentioned COVID, has actually reduced quite a bit the amount of online activity I've been able to manage, because, you know, you just feel like you get into a chat and then, you know, you feel like, oh, I need a nap after that. It's quite quite annoying. Which is why this 24 hours of painting is going to be a real challenge, because, you know, I am still recovering. Right, 18 and 19, so 2 heads next to each other. Right. So, just taking off the mold lines and contact points. These are much better than the old Repenter. The old Repenter, I mean, they were nice, but I think they were overly sexualized, if that makes any sense. I know some people will probably think I'm mad for saying that, you know, sisters, they're meant to be women-y, but I was thought, you know, they're warrior nuns, you know, they're not exactly, yeah, Repenter, yeah, I get it, they don't wear their armor, so that's cool, but wearing basically nothing makes no sense to me. And I much prefer these. I know, I'm a boring fart. Not liking the naked ladies. Well, I do like naked ladies. I just don't think they make sense in the on the battlefield. But I suppose I'm a bit of a fuddy-duddy that way. Well, not fuddy-duddy. I like to play with different people, if that makes sense. The more people I play with, more fun I can have, because it's all different. I remember when I was a kid and there was only me and two other kids that played Warhammer, and often the adults didn't really want to play us because, you know, we were kids. Plus, you know, a lot of the adults played more serious war games, you know, Napoleonics and stuff, and we were there with our, you know, I had my Chaos Dwarves, and was it Ryan? Yeah, Ryan had his Warriors of Chaos. Oh, I've lost a bit of the banner there. It's come off. I'm gonna try and glue that in a bit, but I don't know if that's gonna stick, because it's quite a thin contact point. But I'll give it a shot. It just means I know I've got to be careful with it on this one. Sometimes these thin bits of plastic are an absolute nightmare to deal with. Just checking the have a look at the streaming. Let's have a look at the streaming stats there. Because I said these building stuff is mostly about testing. Make sure this is going to work on Sunday. So tomorrow I will be streaming in the. No, I won't be streaming tomorrow because it's hopefully. I've been doing a pub quiz with Megan's family and Lindsay's family, and it's been a lot of fun. But we don't know if we're going to be able to do it this week because one of the participants is away at her mum's for the week. She was supposed to go down just before lockdown, down in Portsmouth, and she is currently there and not able to participate. Another one doesn't know, he might have to do some train stuff. He's always doing train stuff. Always doing train stuff. Paul, hello, if you do see this. Works at a heritage mini railway, the Scarborough North Bay Railway. It's actually not too bad. We've taken my nephews there for Christmas before. They do Santa trains, and obviously, you know, it's a small company, small organisation. They need to open up because, you know, they're struggling to they're going to struggle to survive if they can't do stuff this year. But I suppose a lot of places are in that same position. And kids are bored, so I'm just babbling now, aren't I? Okay, so those two are on there. There's a cat hair. Sometimes you get cat hairs, especially when you got cats. Right, so let's get this first sword on. Well, I say sword. Eviscerator. I love that. I love that name. Eviscerator. Oh. Pull my leg off. Gotta reglue that. Oh. Sore eye. Right, there she goes. It's a very weird contact point. I'll start working on the heads. So same pose, same model, essentially, but two different heads, which is nice. Got one which is completely blindfolded. And we got one that is muzzled, wearing a mask. So she's taking COVID seriously. Seriously, it is quite serious. Do wear your masks. I can't, but everybody should. Anyway, I'm going to be right back because someone has just popped by. Okay, sorry about that. Megan had popped round with cake. Megan's my girlfriend. She normally lives with us, but she is staying at the minute with her parents because they need some help during lockdown. Oh, Darren's in Norfolk now. Ooh. Right. Oh, Lindsay started crying. Yes, dear? Lindsay needs a hug. I know. Nope, that ain't gonna work. Okay. Give you a hug.
Oh, on elbows and limits placed on household visits. Reg must have been warned by Blackburn with Darwin Council.
What, has the coronavirus gotten worse, has it? So is that everywhere, or is it just Blackburn?
I don't know. It looks like it's just there. I'm going to have a look on BBC.
This is where the old assembly handle is going to come in handy. So I'll pop this.
Oh, here we go. I'll check it on Sky. So the news alerts come through.
Now I'll put the. Where have I put
New
it?
emergency measures have been announced for residents in Blackburn and Darwin to prevent a coronavirus local lockdown. The council in Lancashire said only 2 people are now allowed to visit another person at home. The face covering should be worn in public with immediate effect. It also urged anyone to get tested for COVID-19 even if they have no symptoms.
Oh, well.
The Lancashire Authority's Director of Public Health, Dominic Harrison, called for people only to bump elbows with anyone outside of their immediate family instead of shaking hands or hugging.
Well, that bit went away, so it's just going to be a short bit of. Yeah, I lost it.
And he said public protection advice for small shops was being stepped up to ensure measures including social distancing and increased in ventilation were being followed. Blackburn had 47 cases of the virus per 100,000 people in 7 days to July 11, up from 31.6 cases per 100,000 in the 7 days to July 4th. This is the third on the list of highest weekly rates behind Leicester, which has the rate of 118.2 cases per 100,000 and is subject to a local lockdown, and nearby Pendle, which has a rate of 76.6.
There you go, guys. You tune in for me to build some models, and you got COVID-19 news from Lancashire instead.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realise you were casting.
That's cool. It's cool. It's cool. This will be Saturday, you know, the name matter. Right, that's the Repenter built. Now onto the Arcoflagellants. So we'll start off with the unique one. 69. $69. $70. And 71. Looks like I got two bases too many. Oh, extra bases aren't a problem. I do like Arcoflagellants. So grimdark. So grimdark. So I'm probably going to do a bit of cheating on these guys as far as it goes. Well, I say cheating. I'm going to use quite a bit of contrast for their skin tones. I've got 3 of them, so I want to get at least. Oh, then again, I want some interesting skin tones, and I got a skin tone that I really like for very sickly people. Oh, but I could do that on the. Yeah, I'll do that on the archoflagellant. This one, these guys are going to be done with the with mostly contrast. But that's fine because contrast is awesome. So what I need to do is write down my painting guides, because I get a lot of my ideas for how I'm going to paint stuff from videos that other people do, which makes, you know, because I'm not very good at coming up with my own original ideas. So I like to see what other people are doing, and I take influences from that and put stuff together that way. And I'm gonna have to write down. I've got loads of ideas thought up, but they're gonna be from videos, and what I need to do therefore is write them down. So I'm not gonna go, hey, I've got to pause you a second while I bring up a video to watch. That's not going to be any fun. You guys watching me listen to videos, well, listen, you know, watch me watching videos. There's a whole program about that, isn't there, Lindsay? There's an actual program about people watching TV.
Yeah, so there's the Gogglebox.
Gogglebox, okay. See, my knowledge of popular culture is ever fantastic. But then again, that's the way it's always been. Okay, so that goes in the bottom there. All right. Once I'm done with this, I'm gonna go and make myself some. Well, we're gonna make burgers for our tea with red potato wedges. Yes, sir. Lindsay's hugging the cat.
No, this is how she ended up in my arms. I didn't orchestrate this. This was completely her.
Oh, I know. That's what she's like. So I'm gonna get these guys done. Get in there. These next ones should be relatively simple, and then it's just a pentalant engine. So these are all the.
It should be like this one.
Right, so that's that sprue, and now we've got the. So I've got two different heads. Yes, we do. Fantastic. Right, so basically off this frame, I'm cutting everything off it, and then that frame is completely done with. Boring bit. We sort of attach at the bottom there. These are going to be interesting to paint up, as I said. Skin, lots of skin. So that's that one done. So that frame is done. Then we'll be cutting off this one, and then I don't know what to do with all the spare heads. I suppose they're not really something that can be used on the multi-part stuff, are they? Because they're very much specifically for this, for these things. What things are that? You know, the for these type of single pose minis. So I don't know whether it's worth keeping the heads in the bits box. Probably get people telling me, oh, you should always keep stuff in your bits box, but that way madness lies. I just had to get rid of an absolute ton of bits. You know, I was keeping like all sorts of shoulder pads, which, you know, it's not helpful when you've got limited room. Literally had shelves full of bits, and I've reduced down a lot. A lot of it was not that useful, like the front panels of rhinos. I had lots of them because obviously I've built some rhinos and obviously added some front panels. You know, Forge World front panels, like with my Death Guard rhinos that I did for the Chaos Death Guard. Oh, and my also my Heresy Death Guard. They were a lot of fun to paint, the Heresy Death Guard. Lovely models. I need to paint Mortarion still, but he's intimidating me. Actually, I need to paint 2 different Mortarions. I've got Mortarion from Heresy, and I've got Mortarion from what you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? 40k. So I do have the 40k one is coming up on my painting plan. I'm bad. I have to. I'm really bad at focusing. As Lindsay in the background here will no doubt tell you. That was her cue to slag me off, and she didn't take it. So.
I'm not going to slag you off. How would I do that?
You're my wife. That's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, dude.
But oh, losing a little bit of. That one is fun to get that little bit of contact point off. Yeah, I got terrible focus, absolutely terrible focus. So what I do is I work on my I work from a painting plan. Yeah, a painting plan. Basically, I've got a note on my phone with all my stuff that I've got to paint on it, and then I make a plan. I've got two plans, as it were. I've got a short-term and a long-term plan. My short-term is basically, I put it on my blog every week. I need to post this week. It's blog update because it's been delayed because I've been fixing things on the website. Turns out I had some malware, which is obviously a pain in the bum, and I need to do some work to limit the amount of data that the site actually uses, because it's using a lot more bandwidth than I would like it to do so, which is causing issues. Anyway, so yeah, I put on my 10 next projects, and that's one that is usually stuck to, although I have altered it this week from what it was supposed to be. I've pushed in some models that were originally going to be a bit further back in the plan, because I'm realizing I'm being totally unfair to my friend Nikki. Basically, Nikki doesn't get as much time to paint as he would like, and he asked me, like, last year, you paint me an army. Yeah, of course I can. What do you want painted? Deathcore Krieg. Awesome, no problem. I've always wanted to paint them. He keeps giving me more and more stuff, which is fine. But now he started 3D printing some stuff as well, which is awesome stuff. He's got this resin. Well, he's got a filament and a resin 3D printer. Lucky chap. I want to 3D print it myself, but it's a case of right now I don't have the funds, nor do I have the room. But a long-term plan over the next year is going to be to figure out where one would go, and I've got to do some sorting out in our spare room properly, because we kind of designated it as a room for our nibblings, our nephews and nieces, to sleep in when they visit. But that's not really worked out, because we've got so much stuff we need to keep in there that I don't know how practical it's going to be, because we don't want them getting themselves hurt on our stuff, because some of it's, you know, a bit much, and we don't want to completely make them sleep in like a junk room. So we've got to figure that one out. A minute, it's got my old TV, my old main TV in there, and a few other bits and bobs. Need to figure that out. So get this done. That's his face mask on. So once I've got these built, I will have to do the test models. So I'm probably going to do them Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. I'm going to try and get up nice and early to stream doing them. I've got a test Pentaton engine here. Well, I did damage it a bit when building it. Lost some of the bits at the back here. And I've got Amelia Nova as a test model to build. Although Megan has asked for her to be done in the way of her the avatar that we had done by we have commissioned for her. So that means it'll be done with pink hair. I've never done pink hair on a model before. If anyone's got any tips, let me know. I think I know how I'm going to do it. But I'm going to try and get that painted Thursday. Well, it's going to have to be Thursday. I really need to get the schemes down. Replicatable. I've got the scheme. I've got pretty much what I want to do for the sisters. Just to make sure it's doable. Make any adjustments if needs be. Alright, so there's the arcoflagellants all painted. Now we're on to the Pentaton engine. Last model. Yeah, so I ended up with 2 spare 25mm bases. Oh well, spare bases. No problem with that. So this one is lots of fun on a 50mm base. The old ones used to be on 60mm bases, as in the old, because they were essentially the dreadnought of the Adeptus Sororitas. You know, the old days. You know, you used to have pretty much every army had a dreadnought style model on a 60mm base. Chaos Dreadnoughts, Space Marine Dreadnoughts, Pentaton engines for the Sisters of Battle. Obviously now this is more of a unit, as it were. It's less of a dreadnought and more of a less powerful than a dreadnought as well, which I think works. When all armies are the same, it gets a bit boring, doesn't it? You know, when they all follow the same archetype. It's like the old fantasy setting, you know. You used to have magician, well, you know, wizards, cavalry, footmen. It was like every army had those. It was just sort of replicated formula over the way. I like the way things are now, where, you know, there's lots of different types of unit, you know. Oh, sorry. It's much better these days. I'm talking about Sigma. You know, you've got lots of different units to do lots of different things. You know, it's not simply that there is the equivalent in another army. I think the only army in 40k settings in which you can say there is an analog to just about everything else is Space Marines, because they simply have that many units. You know, there's so many units that you can basically do, that basically you could find anything, especially, you know, and it changes all the time. Like now you've got the, what do you call them, eradicators, you know, basically, you know, the Eldar, oh, what's the name, the Aspect Warriors, is it the Fire Dragons? Not really a big Eldar player. I've got an Eldar army, but I keep meaning to get rid of it because Eldar just didn't gel for me. But a part of that is probably because I chose Iandan and I wasn't that good at painting yellow. It's one of those things where maybe if I go back, maybe one day I'll go back and do another Iandan army now that there are some better ways to do yellow. Because that was the biggest, most awful army I painted ever. It looks terrible. It's awful. I hate my Eldar. They just look awful. But these days I do it Wraithbone, and then ironed in yellow contrast, and then glaze over. Is it Uriolello? That's probably how to do it. Duncan did an awesome guide on painting Imperial Fists on his painting academy, which you should really join if you fancy it. I mean, there are some painters I know. I'm thinking of Mr. Cornish, Goldfish, that wouldn't benefit from it. But there are a lot of painters out there that I know, well, like me, just your average tabletop builder, painter. Well, I'm building at the minute, that's why I'm thinking building. Your average tabletop standard quality painter, and that's who would get a lot out of it. I mean, Duncan's painting guides taught me a lot about painting. You know, I'm never going to be a Golden Demon level. You know, it's no good me looking at people like Dave Miles and Andy Wardle's painting stuff and going, yeah, I'm gonna join their Patreons. I'm gonna learn this. I'm gonna learn that. Because simply put, I just don't have that skill level. Not wrong with that. You know, a lot of people are of the opinion that I've seen a lot of comments about, you know, if you're not painting at such and such a level, you shouldn't be painting. So that's just not the best attitude to take, in my opinion. I think that everyone should try their best, and sometimes your best is, you know, a lot. Oops, sorry, is not what is something that people might take their mick out of. But as long as you have fun doing it, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. You know, your art is your art, and as long as you're having fun doing it, it's all good, at least as far as I'm concerned. So it's like you get people who are posting, this is my first model, and it's, you know, it's fairly basic. I mean, I've got some of my first, where are they? I'll have to put up a picture. I've got some of my first models I painted when I came back to the hobby. I haven't got anything from when I was a kid, but oh god, they were bad. They were bad when I was a kid. I got better as I grew up, but they were bad as a kid. Terrible, utterly awful. When I came back to the hobby, it was my painting was not that great. It really wasn't. My Blood Ravens, I started back with Blood Ravens because, you know, ironically, I hadn't seen Dawn of War. I hadn't played Dawn of War at all. Never really been a big PC gamer, but I just saw Blood Ravens as the color scheme on in the store. Someone, you know, so they had it was the old Newcastle store that was in what was that? What was the shopping centre called, Lindsay? Where it was? It was the Newgate Shopping Centre. That was it.
That was it, yeah.
Yeah, Newgate Shopping Centre. It's been long demolished. Took long enough to get that done. And the manager at the time, don't know what happened to him. He went away. Had done a bunch of models for a bunch of chapters. This was about the time of the launch of just the end of 4th, beginning of 5th. The manager had done a bunch of the Marines. You got, because they used to do this painting set that was like a bunch of paints, simple paints, and 5 easy build, push fit Marines, and he'd done a bunch of them in various chapter schemes to show how easy it was to do, and these were mostly to demonstrate the new washes and stuff, and they were really, well, I love that color scheme, the bone and the dark red. Potatoes, CD Dart Main. Potatoes. I like potatoes. Who doesn't like potatoes? Yeah, anyway, I loved the color scheme, that dark red, and the dark red and the bone combo. And I was like, right, I want to do them. How do I do it? And this is, I come back in, all the paints were different. Everything was strange. We had, we no longer had inks. We had washes, and there were foundation paints, and I was like, how do I do this? I was trying to replicate it using stuff from forums. I was failing miserably, and he just said, well, if you just want to get them painted, and this was like, yeah, I want to paint. Take Mecherite red, so base them in Mecherite red, and then wash them with, I think it was Leviathan purple. Just wash them purple, and I thought, oh, this is amazing, this is brilliant. Of course, as I developed, I look back on them now, and they are pretty damn atrocious. But we all learn. We all go at our own pace. Oh. Now, did this show up on the restream chat? Yeah. So the Twitch shows up on there. So I've got to figure out how to get other chats to show up. So guys, anyway, as part of this charity thing, it's for the Willow Foundation. I think I've expressed my love for this particular charity many times before. I will express it many times more on the stream on Saturday, but it is basically a charity that arranges special days out for seriously ill young adults. There is a thing, basically, how you got your Make-A-Wish foundations and that. Well, there aren't many that they they do the young kids, and then there aren't many that do the young adults. The teenagers up to your mid-30s. There aren't many that cover that, and the Willow Foundation is one of them. It was founded by what's his name, Bob Wilson, the Arsenal guy, in honor of his daughter who passed away. And basically, when I was a kid, I had a very, very close friend, Lee. Amazing chap. Always with a smile on his face, really cheeky smile as well. And sadly, he passed away from lymphoma, Hodgkin's disease, I think it was. It was awful. I couldn't get to his funeral, sadly, because I was living up here, not driving, and we didn't drive, and getting time off work was anyway. But one of the things that the Willow Foundation did for him was, I'm not sure how they, he's got a story on, because I'll tell you in a minute, but basically they took him and his band to, his mates from school and his band, they took them into London, and they had a special day. They got to go to a proper, professional music studio and record some tracks, and put down, you know, professionally, a brilliant track, because he was a pretty decent musician, decent musical. He was a fairly good musician. I think that's what he would have done with his life, had it not been cut short. And yeah, they took him in. They did the recording with his mates. They did a nice night out, and yeah, it's one of those good memories that some of his friends have with him. Unfortunately, I was at university at the time, and I wasn't in the band, but you know, by the by, he was one of my best mates, more than a mate, family basically. And anyway, so so the Willow Foundation did some great work, and what his mates from school have done, and his family have been running a music festival in Sudbury, in Suffolk, in his honour. I will put up a link to it later. Lee Stock, I think. I always get it mixed up. It was one, then I had to change its name because there's another festival that already existed that was called that, and yeah, I always get mixed up between the two. I shouldn't do. It's like when you talk about WWF and WWE. You know, I still think about WWF rather than WWE. I can't get it out of my head, but I know it's WWE. Not that I'm a big fan of it. You know, I was in middle school, and Hulk Hogan lost to Yokozuna, and I realised this is an absolute fix. You know, because it was ridiculous. You know, that was a complete breaking of the rules. Someone came in and yeah, I'm babbling. You're going to get a lot of this. Anyway, so yeah, so they run this music festival. It's really, really good. They get some amazing acts. A lot of retro stuff. They do it at. They've been doing it for the past few years at Melford Hall, which, if you are familiar with the work of the Monty Python lads, was used as Toad Hall in their Wind in the Willows. And my family and his family and his friends run this festival. It's amazing. It's added to the thing, and it raises loads of money for the Willow Foundation. Now, obviously, COVID-19 has thrown a spanner in the works for that. I can't raise the kind of money that you'd raise at a music festival, but I'd like to raise 200 quid. And if I can raise 200 quid, I'll be a very happy man, because they did something amazing for my friend, and I would love to help them do that same amazing work for more people. So yeah, I'll get a proper little scripty thing that I can read out to talk about the charity on, because I'm completely unplanned. Lindsay's I think Lindsay's sort of there in the background. You can see her, can't you? Yeah, you can see her. She's on screen. She looks mortified that she's on screen.
No, Prim still doesn't have a home.
Who?
Prim.
Prim.
I fell in love with Prim weeks ago. Yeah.
We can't have another cat, Lindsay.
But he still doesn't have a home.
He'll get a home.
Becky posted him on the 2nd of March.
But we've had lockdown.
I know. He's beautiful.
I think I'm getting another cat.
He's 6.
Lindsay, I don't think we could have another cat.
Look at the Prim.
Oh God, he's gonna bring him to me now.
Look at the Prim.
Okay, yeah, he does look kind of nice.
I know. We have 3. We should stick.
Yeah, we've already got 3 cats.
We should stick at 3.
We had 4 briefly.
Briefly? It was for like 3 years.
Yeah, I suppose it was. We had 4 for 3 years, because my nana. Well, we had our 3. Sweep, Misty, and Jenny. Sweep was Misty's mum. Misty was Jenny's mum.
Jenny was Misty's daughter.
Yeah. And we had them for years. We had 4 at the flat we lived in Newcastle. We had Belle because a neighbour came round, and she was like, "Do you want another cat? This cat needs a home." And you sort of look at it and you're like, "Okay, fair enough. It looks like it's not gonna last very long because
you thought that. I never did. I gave Belle a proper chance, and you thought that. You never told me at the time, dude.
she was kind of flea-ridden, wormed up to the hilt.
She was a tiny little kitten, and we gave her a home, and she's still with us. Just when my sister came to live with us, she kind of decided that she was no longer my cat. She was my sister's cat. So when we moved out the flat and my sister took the flat on, Belle kind of stayed with my sister because she became my sister's cat.
Yep.
I don't really want to do the burgers outside. It's kind of a grey and a bit nippy.
Okay, yeah, we're going to have some burgers for tea. Okay.
Thank you. I'll see what they need.
Yeah, the weather is looking horrible. Well, not horrible, but, not nice.
As nice as it was.
Not as nice as it was. Not nice weather to sit on. I'm just doing the flamers for this Pentadon engine. I have felt the metal one. That's a hell of a thing. A guy I used to knock around with back in the day when the Sunderland Warhammer Club hung around, Craig, he had a metal Sisters of Battle Army, all metal, and that case, you could kill a man with it. You genuinely could have killed a man with it. And the Pentadon engine was a heavy thing. Although I have seen a few resins, so I don't know if James Workshop actually remade it in resin as fine cast. That's that sprue done altogether. We're almost there. Pop that in the bin. I don't know if Games Workshop ever actually made it into a fine cast, or whether just a load of people got recasts, which would be a shame, I guess. But I have seen a few resin ones on eBay, but I can't. But no one seems to be sure whether they made it in. Anyway, I don't want it because it's too big. Well, I don't know if it's too big, but A, it's metal, so it's going to be an bugger. Cats, more cats. Yeah, apparently, Lindsay, we should get more cats. I can convert the cat into a squig-off. A tyrannid, perhaps. I don't need encouragement to get more cats. I love cats. We actually cat-proofed our garden just a few weeks ago. Our friend Paul came up and cat-proofed it for us because Bonnie, wherever she is, she's sitting on Lindsay's desk, has this awful habit of going into our neighbour's garden. Our neighbour is a lovely young lady, works in a laboratory, and she's been doing her business in the plants that she's trying to grow. Obviously, fertilizer is good, but that's not good that the cat does that. So we cat-proofed the garden, so now she can't get out. Of course, she did manage to get out the other day, and we had to figure it out. Okay, so last piece going onto the Pentadon engine, and it's done. The Pentadon engine is built, and that is all 25 models built. So that's all I've got to do building wise. So I've been on for an hour and 12 minutes. So what's going to happen next is I'm going to paint Amelia Nova. Is Amelia Nova here on stream? I'm going to do stream Thursday morning. Get her start her painting and get that painted. I also want to do this Pentadon engine that I bought to test. Flesh, easy flesh on, and the Pentadon engine obviously is its own, color scheme. So I need to figure out where I'm going to put stuff because it's a complex one, and I don't want this to delay me the whole thing. So bought it pre-built, second hand. Yeah, just sprayed it silver. Anyway, that's all I've got to do. Apparently cat poop isn't good fertilizer. Well, that wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, I am going to head off now. Thank you for tuning in, those guys that do. If you've donated, thank you very much. I will test you again for donations before this time is done. If you've got any comments about how this stream has went, technically, let me know in the comments, or send me a message or whatever. I need to tidy up the studio so it looks good for the stream because I want it to look all right. I need to have a shave and a haircut because Honestly, I look like a mess. You see how thin this is getting? Anyway, I haven't had my lockdown haircut yet. But thank you very much, and I'll speak to you guys later.